What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Hex is pumping, MAXI is pumping, Hedron is pumping. It's all good. It's all good in the proverbial hood for now, but for how long is that going to last? We'll find out. We'll find out. Again, I want to be clear. I think this is still a short-term bull relief rally. Like, I don't think the bear market's over. I think there's a lot of conditions at play here. We'll get into all that, but you've heard me, ad nauseum talk about this. It's, the Federal Reserve needs to raise interest rates a little more. Bunch of coins coming out from Mt. Gox and all these, federal coins that, when they stole Ross Ulbright's coins. These are all going to come on the market, probably get dumped, and conditions really haven't changed. So things are good right now. Enjoy it. And there's a couple of new coins like that. There's been a lot of attention around in the past couple of days. Hedron and MAXI I'm talking about. Why are they pumping? I'm going to get into it in a minute. But guys, I just got done watching that Richard Hart interview, and fucking, hey, that Mike Alfred guy he pisses me off, man. He's a moron. He's an absolute moron, and he thinks that all of you guys are dumb. He literally said on stream, he thinks all Hexicans, we're the only ones dumb enough to fall for the scam. So that should piss you off, because fuck that guy. I mean, we're way smarter. We're on the winning team. And at the end of the day, he's just mad because he's not making the money that we're making. We're in crypto to make money, all right? We're in crypto to make money. If you got into Hex at the right time, you didn't buy the top, you're probably up hundreds, if not thousands of X right now. And we're going to do it again in the next bull market. So if you just got here, you're actually at a good time. But it's just ridiculous to me that he's using some of the, it's almost funny because he's using some of the old FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, just the old lies and garbage BS, going for personal attacks on Richard. We've seen it all before, but he's saying this stuff as if no one's ever said it, as if he's like the smartest guy in the world. And those kind of people, those Dunning-Kruger kind of people, just fucking piss me off, man. Like, for those that don't know, the Dunning-Kruger effect basically means a lot of people think they're smarter than they actually are because they don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? So they don't know what they don't know, and he clearly exemplified that today. Hold on, I'm going to pull some stuff up because we're going to talk about some pretty cool topics today. First of all, let me say what's up to chat. What's up, everybody? Hey, Kaiser. Hey, Coffee. Hey, Spike. Hey, Red Squirrel. Hey, Dan Salter. Hey, Roof Dog. Respect the pump. Yeah, you have to respect the pump. That's Ivan on Tech, right? Got to respect the pump, right? Michelle, hey, good to see you. Spike says, word. Old arguments, nothing new. Yeah, old arguments, nothing new. But just imagine being that much of just like a beta loser that you just have to like. That guy was so triggered by Richard and like his outrage marketing. He just didn't understand what was going on. He doesn't understand what's going on in crypto. He still thinks Bitcoin is the best thing ever. I heard him make some BS arguments about, are you in it for the tech or for the societal benefit? So he's trying to take like a holier than thou stance of, it's helping starving people in Africa. It's like, it does both. People can't see nuance. Like, yeah, it helps bring financial freedom to the entire world because it's free, open, borderless, permissionless transactions. But like, it also makes people rich and financially free, and that's okay. We should all be happy about that. I'm sick of this, wealth shaming going on. So many people just feel broke, and they feel like because they don't feel the power that they're ever going to escape their situation, and so they want to drag everyone else down with them. So there's a lot of wealth shaming going on, but I think you should try to get as wealthy as you humanly can in this world. You should try to do everything in your power to make the best life for yourself, for your children, leave your legacy, etc. Someone should tell Mike that snide condensation isn't a good look. Yeah, I mean, when you insult an entire community of people, like that's not a good idea. Like, he's basically just another one of the toxic Bitcoin maximalists, and that's the reason that they're exclusive and nobody really likes them because they're just rude to everybody else, right? So that was just annoying to watch. Basically, I felt like by watching that, he was just calling me names, and he was calling all of you names. He was saying you're all idiots for buying Hex, the best performing asset of 2021 and 2020, made thousands of millionaires, going to do it all over again in the next bull market. He just got his head in the sand. It's like, man, you just can't show this. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? What pump? The chart says it's sideways. I know it's a mini pump, guys. It's just a title, sir. But actually, there is a pump going on in MAXI right now, so we can talk about that. And Hedron. And Hex is up 4% today. So if you want to call that a pump, that's what's going on. So I'm just going to be real with you guys today. I don't really have a whole lot of new or crazy things to say. Let's just get with the title over with. What I put in the title is Hex, MAXI, and Hedron are all pumping. Why? Everybody wants to know why, right? Let's pull up some charts. Let's pull up the old dexscreener.com. So here's the chart of Maximus token. Basically, if you guys want to know why this is pumping, it's because the launch date was just announced. So look at that nice girthy green candle, right? Look at that on the screen right there. That green candle is there because Gold Key and Tanto Nomini, they just announced they're launching the team contract on Monday. So we'll see. We'll see if this pumps all weekend. It might just it might be topped off here at 2.13 hex per maxi. I personally think this ratio is a little high, but it's obvious that people are just buying up maxi to then send it to the team contract and mint their team token. So I'm going to be doing some minting of the team token, but I also do think this is going to probably be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Just my 2 cents. For a little bit, obviously maxi will still hold its value because it's backed by Hex, literally. But I do think this ratio might come back down and settle at 1.8 or whatever, wherever it was before all the rush, the frenzy to come buy it. But guys, I am participating, so I have bought maxi, and I will be converting maxi into team. That's just what I'm doing personally. So obviously you make your own decisions. If you want to be part of the Maximus DAO team, if you want to be one of the gladiators, one of the originators of this whole thing, you want to buy the token and stake it early, right? Buy early, stake, and enjoy the price rise. I'm speculating on it, and I'm just speculating because I can. And if you're not in a position to speculate, I really say don't do that. Just start with Hex. If you're not already, The thing about maxi too is if for new people, it's not even necessarily the best thing to get into. This is for people with experienced and provably diamond hands, right? If you don't have diamond hands, you're going to want to stake Hex the old-fashioned way because you want to protect yourself from yourself. That's the whole point of all this stuff. That's the whole point of Hex. That's why Hex was able to make astronomical gains. It's because of the time lock mechanism where there's actually punishment. So it's staking with consequences. Maxi takes that out in favor of other benefits, namely gas fee savings, instant liquidity, market utility, and what's their other value prop? They just give you more optionality, right? You can bail early if you want to, but I don't recommend anyone do that. So you got to understand what maxi is before you buy it. But long story short, that's why it's pumping. And I probably expect it to keep pumping until the team launch on Monday. Then it'll probably correct and come back down, settle, wherever it used to be, whether that's 1.6, 1.8, I don't know, whatever. What else? Hedron, right? Hedron. Let's get Hedron out of the way. Hedron Hex. Let's do Hedron USDC first, okay? So we can see Hedron USDC is, let's go on the daily. You guys never look at anything really less than 4 hours, okay? Don't be a trader. Don't look at the 15-minute chart. That's some good non-financial advice for you. Like if you're looking at the 15-minute chart, you're already doing the wrong thing. You're doing crypto wrong. It's not meant to be traded. It's meant to be held. But look at this giant pump on Hedron. Right? So Hedron just went, I don't know, let's do some quick calculations here. It went from, did a 4x, 5x in the past 29, 30 days. Did a 4x in the last month, 5x in the last month. Why is that? Well, there's all this new game theory being added, and a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are obviously speculating on it. And it's going to be interesting to see, particularly the Hedron Hex pair. So I'm going to start looking at that one more often. This is Hedron in Hex terms. Again, we got to go to the daily. That's so crazy that people just default you to the 15-minute chart. Like, it just shows you where the minds are at in society, right? So, yeah, tiny little pump. We're reaching a bottom on Hex to Hedron, it seems, but this could continue to go lower because people might still continue to buy Hedron up until that November 13th day. For those that don't know, November 13th is what I'm going to call liquidation day. It's basically 90 days after the launch of Icosa. And so on the very day that Icosa launched, thousands of HSIs were created. Long story short, they're going to hit the liquidation market on November 13th. So the speculative play is that people are going to continue to buy Hedron up until that November 13th date in order to then buy back those HSIs. Now, that's one option, right? Another option is people are going to do buy the rumor, sell the news. They're just going to buy Hedron because they think everyone else is buying Hedron, and then they're going to dump it before the November 13th date. Me personally, what am I doing? Guys, I'm staking like 90% of my Hedron. I'm staking 100% of my Icosa. I have diamond hands. I'm not touching that stuff for at least, the next bull market, right? Maybe 2 years, 2.5, 3 years at least. Okay, whenever the gains come in, but I can wait, right? So I'm not a trader. I don't recommend trading ever, but that's what's going to be happening with this Hedron play. You guys got to realize there's going to be people, again, buy the rumor, sell the news. They're treating it as a temporary event, or they actually want to buy these HSI stakes back. Now, me personally, I've got a little bit of liquid Hedron because if I do see HSIs on sale for a good deal, I might want to buy them. But I'm actually going to have to calculate the USD dollar value that I'm paying, because I don't want to overpay for an HSI stake. If I'm paying 2x or 3x like what they actually should cost, like people are currently doing that today, which is why I speculate that people are still going to do that on the big liquidation day. And I don't like overpaying. I mean, it's only 90 days old. All these stakes are only 90 days old out of 15 years. To me, that's not enough of an incentive. Like if at that point, I'm just going to make a fresh HSI stake myself and do it the old-fashioned way. Go to go.hex.com and make a max link stake. Only if I see these stakes on a discount would I consider buying them personally. So again, I'm keeping 10% liquid just for the chance that maybe these stakes have some kind of a deal on them. I don't expect them to, and so my action on that big liquidation day will probably be nothing at all. Probably be do nothing at all, because usually, guys, that's what you got to do. You always think you have to do something. You never really have to do much in crypto. You just buy the coins, you hold them for a long time. It is that simple. It is that simple. You don't get distracted by too much, right? I think Icosa and Hedron, this is a wholesome thing to be distracted by because it feeds back into Hex. So if you're going to go play these dirty side games, make sure you're playing where we can all see you. You know what I mean? Make sure you're playing the games that complement Hex and that pump all of our overall bags, right? None of this works unless we onboard people into Hex first. Right? MAXI was designed, and Hedron was also designed specifically to increase the value of Hex. Offers more functionality, new value props to different people that might not have otherwise bought. It also offers other routes out and into alternatives for people that might have otherwise sold. So it's sticky internally, and it's more valuable externally to different sects of people, different pockets of people. It's a win-win, right? Now, people want to swap Hedron for Hex. That might be the move. I might consider swapping some Hedron for Hex as we get closer to that liquidation day. But for right now, I'm doing nothing, right? I'm doing nothing. I'm not trading. And so that takes care of that. And why is Hex pumping? Well, if I had to guess, it's just because the markets are experiencing a little bit of relief because, what was it? Something like some number was reported. The job numbers have been reported lower or something than expected. And so I don't know, guys. I'm not following the macro conditions that closely. All you got to know is that nothing's really changed in the long run. This is a short-term little pump, if you will. 4% move in Hex. I still think we're going to go lower. Is the bottom in Hex? Maybe. We might double bottom at 2 to 3 cents. A lot of people are calling for 1 penny. I don't know. I wouldn't really want to gamble on Hex hitting 1 penny. Personally, I would probably want a dollar cost average at 5 cents, 4 cents, 3 cents, 2 cents, 1 cent. Like I've been saying, preaching for months now, like nothing has changed, guys. The strategy is dollar cost average, but I wouldn't try to put all your eggs in one basket hoping for that 1 penny range, because honestly, Hex does tend to lead the market sometimes, just like it did. It kicked off the 2019-2020 bull market, because it launched in 2019. It started a lot of trends. And it tops before Bitcoin, and it might bottom before Bitcoin too, if it's on this trajectory. So yeah, we might not get 1 cent, but we might get back down to some low areas just for one last shakeout, pissing people off one last time. And those diamond hands that are not so diamond, they're going to leave. They're not going to come back. And then you, savvy investor, can scoop up. You got to take risk at the dips, right? You have to take the most risk when people are most fearful. So the best time to go shopping for alpha, and like for those people that don't know, alpha and beta are just terms for, in the traditional financial world, beta was actually a quantifiable number of how closely did your investment portfolio track the underlying index, such as the S&P 500, and that was your beta, right? Like beta was the safe number of just tracking the regular indexes that anybody could have bought if they just bought the SPY, whereas alpha was if you took riskier investments and you took an active approach in your investment portfolio. Alpha is how much you beat the market, how much, when they track your portfolio versus an underlying basket like SPY, how high above or below did you perform? Guess what, guys? Most wealth managers lose a lot of money compared to just beta, right? Just following beta. And you're paying them a 1% fee. So I like to manage my own money, right? Ever since I, was able to, I've been managing my own money because, quite frankly, I don't trust anybody else to manage it on my behalf. And I don't think you should either. I think you should take the power into your own hands. Anyway, alpha, the term alpha has just kind of grown and morphed to become this term for information that, like asymmetric information, basically the scoop, like the insider alpha scoop, the information. And that's not technically what alpha means, but that's what it's come to mean, especially in the crypto world. It's like, oh, if I've got some hot alpha for you, basically that just means I've got some insider kind of info for you, which I really don't have, right? I have as much info as some of the most well-educated people in the space have, and that's about it. Let's go back to chat. Monica, hey, how's it going? See you in Vegas. Wow, that's Jay Pierce. Boom. Benny Blanco. Hey, what's up, Zach Davis? Hello from Zach and James. These are my homies right here. Shout out to you guys. I hope you're just watching on your couch and lighting a nice blunt or whatever. Benny Blanco says Hedron Pro is the main front end, but eventually Alex is going to fully migrate to the new one, app.icosa.pro. Yeah, app.icosa.pro is going to be your one-stop shop. I'm probably going to use that going forward, to be honest, because it helps me not forget about all the extra coins I have. Like I get so many extra coins in the Hedron minting, right? And so if you're a Hex staker right now, you might be leaving money on the table. If you're not checking out app.icosa.pro, you might just be leaving free money on the table. It's worth looking at, and if the Hedron that you can mint, if it's not even worth the cost of the gas fee, and if you don't think Hedron is going to go up in the future, then hey, forget about it. If it's too much for you to want to think about, I totally get it. You guys are busy. A lot of you guys aren't crypto people. You don't have all day to just sit around and think about game theory and crazy, whatever smart contracts people are coming up with next. I totally get it. So Hedrons might not be for everybody, but I do recommend at least checking to see how much money you get, and then thank me later. Have you crossed the burning sands? What are you talking about? What does that mean? Howdy, Coffee. Howdy, senior citizen Hexkins. Hello, everybody. Keltex says, hey, Coffee. What's up, dude? What's up, dudes and dudettes? Yeah, you can just ask me anything, guys. I don't really have too much of a stream planned out today. I just think the haters just fucking piss me off sometimes. Like, that Mike Alfred guy is such a jabroni. Man, go watch the Richard Hart interview with him. He just he uses every tactic in the book, and it's a perfect example of people that might think they're smart but not be open-minded enough to really dig into a new idea. So that's the thing too. You actually have to be intelligent and open-minded. I've met a ton of intelligent people that are essentially too smart for their own good, and then they scam themselves into not getting rich, right? Because that idea will never work. They're basically naysayers. They can't possibly believe that any of this would happen, and that's why they missed Bitcoin, and that's why they're going to miss Hex too. That's literally, and they're going to miss every opportunity that slaps them in the face, because even though 99% of things are scams, yes, for sure they are, especially in crypto, the 1%, the diamonds in the rough, are going to pass you by. If you don't have your seat at the table in Hex, and you can get that seat at the table right now at a 90% discount. If you don't, well, you're just going to watch everyone, getting rich again in 2 more years, and it's going to be it's going to be sitting like a sad little boy in the window with a single tear dripping down your face. The biggest plebs think everyone else is a pleb. Yeah. He was just very insulting to the entire community, right? And that's what really got me. Like, yeah, Richard Hart, yeah, he experiences the same criticism over and over, same lies, like, oh, you sold anti-aging medicine. Total lie. Oh, you spammed everybody. It's like, he got a $500 fine for email spam in 2003 or something. So that was back when email spam was not even really a thing yet. So he was experimenting with a new type of marketing, $500 fine, does that make a guy evil? You know, $500 fine, guys. Oh, he's a spam king. Yeah, okay. I've gotten a speeding ticket that costed more than that. You know what I mean? It's bad. It's stupid. They are smart people still stuck in the matrix. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's not to say that they'll never see the light, but also some people bet their entire reputation and their whole MO on not understanding something, right? So I think it's kind of ingrained in some of these guys, like that Alfredo sauce guy, whatever, that loser. I don't even want to mention his name because he's such a loser, but you know, he's based his kind of whole reputation on being a Hex hater and thinking that will get him more views eventually. When in reality, the few people, like, think about everyone that watches that stream, right? Think about everything you heard, and then what fraction of those people are going to say, oh, that Mike guy is so smart. People are going to say, oh, I've never heard of this Richard guy. Let me go check him out. And, oh, what is this Hex? It's actually kind of interesting. Let me dig more into it. I think it's always net positive, right? As long as somebody has more influence than you, like that Crypto Man Rand guy, you want to get on their show because whether or not people love you or hate you, you're getting to a wider audience. So you might be taking a smaller piece of a bigger pie, but it's a bigger pie, right? There's more people you can onboard that way. And yeah, guys, all this shit only works if we onboard new people. People use that argument like, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme because you need to keep getting more people in. It's like, what do you think happens to Bitcoin when no new people come in? What do you think happens to Apple stock when no more people are buying it? Like, yeah, the price goes down, genius. Fucking no shit, Sherlock. It's like, that's how everything works. It's all based on speculation these days and narrative memes. And you don't have to buy into the Hex narrative, right? We're not going to force it down your throat, but a lot of people are buying into it. I'm definitely bought into it. I think it's the future. I think it replaces a $7.2 trillion market and, you know, the CD and bond market. There's so many different value props for Hex that are just, where do I begin, right? If you guys want to know why Hex is valuable, all right, look, here it is. I'll break it down. Bitcoin was essentially set out to be peer-to-peer digital cash. It failed entirely. It ended up being a store of value, which is something much better. Digital cash is actually worth less than stores of value. So great, Bitcoin, you know, paved the way. Bitcoin walked so that Hex could run. Bitcoin is a store of value. And everybody kind of agrees on that because it went from 1 penny to $69,000 and it's been around for 12 years. I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere, guys. And yeah, it might make new all-time highs. It's not going to pump as hard as Hex, but it might go to, you know, 100K, 150K one day. And so basically, yeah, Bitcoin established a precedent that cryptocurrencies can be stores of value. Great. Well, Hex is also a store of value. It's just like Bitcoin, but instead of paying miners to literally sell Bitcoin down, they mine Bitcoin, right? And then they have electricity costs. You got to pay those electricity costs. What do you think they sell? They sell the Bitcoin price down. I mean, that's not ideal. And also they're, you know, not necessarily great for the environment. There's a lot of people, a lot of soy boys out there complaining about how crypto is bad for the environment. They don't really understand yet that, you know, proof of stake is 99.99% more efficient than proof of work. And we have proof of stake now, and we're building PulseChain, and PulseChain is proof of stake. It's going to be minimal environmental impact. Anyway, it's basically Hex is Bitcoin, but instead of paying miners to pollute the environment, we pay stakers to hold the price up. Yes, I'm repeating the Richard Hart narrative, but it literally is true. It's like, what if we just paid people to hold the price up and not sell the price down? Like, kind of simple there, right? So it's Bitcoin with a proof of work change. It's also trustless yield. It's trustless interest. So Ethereum gave us programmable money, smart contracts. It's one reason Ethereum is better than Bitcoin is because you can actually build stuff on top of it. Now, when you have smart contracts, what's the first contract you should probably program? Well, look, the goal of cryptocurrency is to get rid of middlemen and to take the power into your own hands and to own your self-sovereign money and get financial freedom in the process. It's a global digital revolution disguised as an internet Ponzi scheme. But anyway, a smart contract creates isolated and immutable code. It's actually safer because it's abstracted one level away from the network. Nobody can mess with the code. Okay, that's why it's so good. And so if you're now able to code your own money and code your own money supply and game theory and everything, well, the first program you should program is probably yield or interest. How come nobody's programmed trustless interest yet? Well, Hex went ahead and did it because nobody had done it yet. And so if the goal is to replace all the middlemen, we got to replace all the products at a bank. You know, what's the most popular product at a bank after savings and checking accounts? It's actually CDs, time deposits. So Hex is filling that niche. which is actually worth more than gold. So sometimes people say Bitcoin is digital gold. That's fine. It can be digital gold. That's, you know, a $7 trillion market, maybe more now with inflation. But CDs and time deposits in the US and China alone are worth far more than that. Worldwide, they're probably worth way more than gold. There's more money locked up in time deposits than is locked up in gold. So Hex removes middlemen. Hex provides trustless interests. It replaces middlemen. It's a store of value. It can be a currency one day if PulseChain is fast enough. And that's fine if it wants to be a currency, but that's not even the important part. But it's the first blockchain time deposit with product market fit, designed to actually pump in price. I know it's crazy to say that. It's actually designed to pump in price. People get so triggered. It's like, you can't just design something to go up in value. It's like, that's why we're all here, right? So let's just design something that has price positive feedback loops built in that try to minimize, you know, the downside. Without the staking aspect of it, you know, Hex might have not done so well, or might not have stood through this bear market while everything else gets crushed. Literally, so many things are just going to absolute like zero. Sometimes things went to zero. But everything is down 80, 90%. Hex is really no different. And for the coins that survive into the next cycle, you just got to ask yourself which ones are going to, number one, survive. And then number two, which ones are going to pump harder. I don't see any other community like Hex. I don't see anybody promoting their coins. Nobody really believes in their coins like Hexicans do. And that's because of social side effects, unintended, but pretty fascinating. From a social standpoint, when you have all your money locked up for years and years in a staking ladder, you're part of a community that basically all has common values. You all expressed with your actions that you did believe in this product for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And an emergent property of that is a really awesome community that sticks together, that is motivated by haters, right? It's almost good that we have this, it's almost like an underdog type of mentality, right? We need to prove ourselves that Hex is better than Bitcoin and it will do more gains. And I truly believe that. You just got to give it some time, right? So we're all banding together to crush the haters, to actually help people get financial freedom. Meanwhile, everybody else is out here showing you trading platforms, telling you you're going to get rich overnight if you just learn how to read these candles the right way and look into the crystal ball and like the tea leaves. You know, if you learn to read them the right way, you're going to be rich. And then they just scam out. That Alfredo sauce guy that was debating Richard, he literally deletes all of his tweets, and everybody does this. And there's a Telegram channel dedicated to exposing these frauds, essentially, for saying they make these crazy price calls. They get everybody destroyed because they're so wrong. Or what happens a lot, especially with people like Elio Trades and whatnot, don't even look these guys up. I shouldn't even mention them by name because they're just, you know, subhuman scum. But basically, they'll promote something like the flavor of the week. They probably get paid a coin under the table, right? They probably get paid some of that coin. So, you know, they'll get pitched by shitcoin X. Hey, if you talk about this on a video, we'll give you 1 million coins. So they talk about it on a video, they dump their coins, the price crashes, it never comes back, never recovers because it was a terrible idea in the first place. And then after a month passes or so and everyone forgets about it, they delete their, so all of this stuff is logged because all of these YouTuber scumbags are basically just lying to you, chilling whatever they can get your hands on, and they're opportunists. So they don't care about your gains or my gains or anybody else's. They care that they get a piece of theirs, and they're gonna either show you the coin of the month, the flavor of the week, or they're gonna show you a Bybit trading link to take 100x leverage and lose all your money that way. So crypto kind of sucks, you know what I mean? Crypto is kind of a corrupt place, and I see the only kind of wholesome, motivated people in Hex to be like the shining city on the hill. It's the only thing good happening in crypto. A lot of other people are just scamming out, or they're lying to themselves too. I don't think a lot of people actually think that they're bad people, but I don't think a lot of people have really done the introspection to ask themselves, is what I'm doing actually helping people? Is it a net positive? So, echo. Am I echoing? How's my echo? Yeah, I'm in a conference room right now, guys. I tried to put this little fuzzy ball on my Rode wireless transmitter, but I hope my echo is not too bad. Coffee, what's your outlook on Hedron long term? I think it's going to be around for a long time. I really do. I think it's going to be around. I think it's going to complement Hex for many cycles to come. I'm sold on Hedron. I got to say Hedron. Damn it. I keep messing up. It's Hedron, not Hedron. My outlook over the next couple of years is that it's here to stay. It's well done code, audited, immutable, 100% decentralized. The source address has literally signaled benign, benevolence, basically. There's a function in Hedron called proof of benevolence, where, first of all, it's called proof of benevolence, meaning that the creator wanted you to know that if someone runs this function, it's a signal for benevolence. What does this function do? It burns coins. Why would anybody want to burn their own tokens? Why would anybody want to throw money on a fire? Why would anybody in their right mind want to do that? Well, guess what? The founder did that through a function called proof of benevolence, which is literally his way of saying, hey, I want to remain anonymous. I don't want you guys to know that I'm the main holder of Hedron, but I want you to know, I don't want you to know my identity, but I want you to know that I care a lot about this product so much that I burned $1 trillion. He burned $3 million worth of his own token. Now, could he dump on your head at any time? Absolutely. And that's what, we got to be honest about this, right? What risk are you willing to take? If you've talked to Alex, if you've talked to Richard, these are founders of the coins, and you get a sense for who they are at the end of the day, yeah, of course, we're trusting them not to self-destruct and destroy their own projects. But for the same reason, Elon Musk doesn't just dump all of his Tesla shares. For the same reason, Jeff Bezos doesn't just make Amazon.com into a porn website. People don't just self-destruct themselves and shoot themselves in the head, okay? That's, it seems like an easy bet to me, but it's not for everybody. Some people, I don't know, maybe they're projecting or whatever, but some people want to believe that the founders are evil and that they're gonna just destroy everybody and run away. Guys, if you sold all of there's only like $10 million of liquidity on the Hex USDC pair. If somebody wanted to extract only $10 million and hurt the Hex price, number one, Hex wouldn't die. It would just go really low and then bounce back up. Number two, they would be ruining their reputation, literally, for $10 million. And these are people that are already well beyond that, triple-digit millionaires, right? Once you get to a certain point of wealth, you no longer really have to do things for the money. And I mean, I can speak from experience too. I don't really have to do anything for money necessarily, right? Everything I do is because I want to do it. It's like well thought out. All these people are just, I think, projecting like, oh, if I had $10 million, I would just dump it. It's like, maybe you would, but that's not what Richard's doing here. That's not what Alex is doing here. Jeff Bezos goes to Burning Man festivals to wee box with other billionaires. I'd ruin a lot of things for $10 million. I'm sure you would, Sniff. I'm sure you would. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Icosa? It completes the triangle for arbitrage, and it completes it basically gives everybody a way to take a more seasonal approach to coins and not just dump them. So again, internal stickiness. I like it, and I also like the fact that it tracks the Hex price, because it literally has a price valued in Hex where because you can exchange HSIs for Icosa, because you can exchange wrap stakes for Icosa. That means that through the code, there will always be some ratio of Hex to Icosa, where Hex costs, or Icosa costs, X number of Hex. And because that equation is based on dividing by the T-share rate, it means Icosa will only get more scarce over time, and will only go up relative to Hex over time, slowly. Very slowly. What is your HSI auction strategy? I talked about this at the beginning. Basically, I've got a little bit of liquid Hex, like 10% of my stack is liquid, to try to maybe buy some of these HSIs when they come on the market. But I don't expect them to be a good deal, because they're not a good deal now. So why would they be a good deal then? If I see the prices come down and like my USD value of Hedron is buying me a fair USD value of wrapped Hex, then maybe I'll buy some. But, for only being 90 days complete out of 5,555, I'm speculating that I'm not actually going to get a great deal on these. So it's something that's mildly interesting for me, and I'll be covering that date, November 13th, as we get closer to it. So yeah, when we get closer to it, you guys will all figure it out. All right, did I miss any questions? Is Hexo still like Pisa? No, I'm not going to talk about that coin. Influencers preying on the goldfish brains, tweet delete. Yeah, they do that. They do that, man. Johnny knows we've been around for 7 years, 8 years now. 7 years for me. This is what the influencers do, and there's a reason that a lot of them, like, you'll see they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but then zero engagement, right? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they only get, 1,000 views, but they have 100,000 subscribers? It's like, because so many people came and went and they cycled them out. And, they got so wrecked in the bear market or whatever, maybe the previous bear market of 2018, they got so wrecked that they just didn't want to come back. They didn't want to play the game anymore. And that's what happens to a lot of people. That's what's happening right now. Certain people are getting shaken out of their bags. And it's unfortunate too, because they're not going to know that this is actually the time to build your bag and accumulate. People don't know that. How much coffee does Crypto Coffee consume? I'm like almost entirely tea now. I almost don't drink coffee at all anymore. So maybe like once a week, maybe. All right, boys and girls. Why the name Crypto Coffee? I don't remember you explaining. Well, Franklin. Well, sir, I used to have a coffee company online. It's called cryptocoffee.org. And I sold coffee like a jabroni, like an idiot, thinking that that was a good business idea, right? I was like, oh, well, if I installed I was one of those guys that just kind of like Richard, and I'm sure a lot of crypto bros, like yourself and everybody else, I was too focused on the technology and not enough on the business side of like, we're here to make money, okay? Like we need to profit. And I was just, I went way overboard and thinking that if I made an e-commerce site that accepted Bitcoin, and I did all this work, like I installed like a WooCommerce, a BitPay server, and a self-hosted server, and all this tech stuff that didn't matter. And it was basically just a coffee company where you could exchange crypto for coffee. And it turns out nobody cared. Nobody wanted it because guess what? Nobody wants to spend their crypto. It's a store of value. That means people hold it because they think it's going to go up. They don't want to spend it on silly things. So, I mean, I didn't lose much money. I actually don't think I lost any money, but I didn't make any money either. And so the name just stuck because when Hex came out, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to rebrand and just turn this coffee company thing into a Hex channel. And so there we go. That's it. Hex is boring due to PulseChain delay. It's like a stable coin now. Yeah, stable coin for another couple months, and then until one day it's not. But hey, I'm kind of glad that we're stable around these levels because it's giving people time to think about their next move, time to sell themselves on the product, right? If you're not already sold on Hex, obviously it takes time to really sink in, right? But more time for people to believe. You got to believe. I'm trying to catch up, listening at 1.5x speed. Sounds like he's got coffee through an IV. Yeah, well, maybe that's because, yeah, you're on 1.5, bro. Let's see. Thanks, Benny Blanco, for the link. Guys, I'm giving away free knowledge. If you have any questions about crypto, let me know in the little chat box there. Otherwise, I'll just hop off. But yeah, guys, fucking Mike Alfredo sauce, huh? That guy's such a jabroni. What a moron. Imagine just like doubling down on the Hex is a scam narrative and thinking you're holier than thou and you're going to save everybody. Just sad, man. It's just sad. He's going to get other people wrecked, and then the Hexicans are going to be the ones with the last laugh. Like, simple as that. Baruka Ata Adonai Eloheinu. I hope I said that right. Don't you think Hex is kind of old compared to Hedron? Not at all, dude. Do you think Bitcoin was kind of old when it was 3 years old? Like, Hex was built to last longer than our lifetimes. So it's actually, you can reframe that and say it's actually a good thing because of the Lindy effect. If you guys have ever heard of the Lindy effect, let me Google that for you. Basically, the longer something has existed, the longer its future implied life expectancy. It's essentially, here, let me screen share. The Lindy effect. The Lindy effect, also known as Lindy's law, is a theorized phenomenon by which the future life expectancy of non-perishable things like a technology or an idea is proportional to their current age. So basically, the older it gets, the more people believe in it, right? Because it's been around for a long time. And people start to assume, oh, because it's been around for 1,000 days, 100% uptime, never been hacked, it legitimizes that thing in people's minds. It legitimizes that idea. So Hex being the older it gets, look, I will agree that the older something gets in crypto, the lower the expected gains are. But the more legitimate it becomes in the eyes of people. So you want to get in earlier when there's the most opportunity and the most potential to pump the highest. I think Hex, I know it sounds crazy, but I think Hex over the next 2 cycles can do another 10,000x. Over the next 1 cycle, I think it's going to do 1,000x. And then I think it's going to crash 90%, just like, just like every cycle. Now, 1,000x to me is enough to change your life. And I don't know many other coins that are going to do more than that. PulseChain might do more than that. Hedron can go pretty high. I don't know how high Hedron can go, but if Hex can pump that high, then it can bring Hedron along with it because they're bonded in their liquidity. If you understand the liquidity bonding thing, you'll know that they're complements. So it's not like, for your question, I would say it's not ditch Hex, get into Hedron. It's pay attention to both, and it's a dynamic system. It's like a 2-way street. I'd still say start with Hex, obviously, because if you start with Hex at 4 cents and it goes to $4, if it goes to $4, guys, what is that? 4 cents, 40 cents, $4, that's 100x. And if you stake it to make interest, it's a lot of money, guys. You're not going to get that in the stock market. And that's being conservative. 100x for me is being conservative, which is kind of ridiculous, right? 100x prediction for Hex is literally conservative. And I mean, that's crypto for you. That's just how things go higher than you can ever expect possible. And then they also go way lower than you could ever expect possible. So it's about how high they get and how low they drop. It's about how high they get first, right? If something does 100x and it dips 90%, you're back to a 10x. If something does 10,000x like Hex did and then it dips 90%, guess what? You're back to a 1,000x. That's just the math. Hey, Z Francis says, should I have USDC or Hex in my wallet before the PulseChain snapshot? Good question, and thank you for the tip. So if you were going to buy Hex anyway, you're going to want to make sure you've bought Hex before the snapshot, because when the fork happens, you're going to have USDC and PulseChain, but it's probably not going to be worth anything. Like, it's probably going to be worthless because technically there's no company backing that value. The reason USDC equals $1 on Ethereum is because Coinbase and Circle, and the Goldman Sachs and all the, people underlying that, they give it value. They have a 1-to-1 reserve ratio in the bank to give it value. So when USDC gets forked over to PulseChain, that reserve ratio won't be there. There's no logical reason for it to have any value. Now, it might have some value, but it's probably not going to be anything close to $1. So my answer to that is, if your intention was to buy Hex in the first place, you're probably going to want to make sure you only have Hex in your wallet, and you make sure you transfer all that USD into Hex before the snapshot. Because then you have Hex from square one. You have Hex from day one on PulseChain. And that's actually, at zero value on day one, the only way to go is up from zero, right? PC says, Benny Blanco says, PC, no, there's always meat on the bone. The system is a seesaw. That's a good way to put it. It's kind of like, hey, is Hedron pumping? Okay, Hedron pumping, maybe swap back into Hex. Maybe this happens every 6 months or every year. I don't know. PLS will be in billions at open. What does that mean? Oh, like market cap? Maybe. Yeah, there's a good chance of that. Marty says, go mad. Thank you, Marty. You're the man, dog. Let's catch up soon, dude. It's been a while. Sniff says, where is all this money going to come from that will bring back the bull market? The same place it always comes from, man. Investors, people. When people feel, bull and bear markets have to do with mass psychology and how people feel, right? If people feel a scarcity mindset, they're not going to want to spend their money. So there's people right now, they're selling their stocks foolishly at the bottom because they're scared that stocks might go down more. And because they've already gone down, oh no, they're going to go down even more. Smart money is buying, and they do the opposite when things pump. When things are pumping, everyone has an abundance mindset, and they think things are going to keep pumping forever. And oh my God, prices are going to go up forever. I'm going to buy more at the top. Meanwhile, that's when smart money is taking some profit off the table. And it's just cycles, bull, bear, bull, bear, bull, bear. Forever, literally since the beginning of markets, like there's cycles. So all this money is going to come from, the money that's in dollars now, the money that's being sold in dollars. And obviously they're going to need to keep printing more money too, which when they do keep printing more money, when the Federal Reserve rates either stop raising rates or come back down, that might be a signal that the bottom is in, right? Because when money becomes more abundant, people's mindsets become more abundant. People, the speculation value of all assets goes up because people are willing to speculate because they feel less fear. It just has to do with like the mind virus of the time. whatever is popular at the time, whatever most people are thinking, that's the way they're going to act. All this money is out there, right? And they make new money every day. They literally print new money every day. So Hex is my number one play. Me too, Crypto7. Thanks for keeping us on track here. Hex should be the number one play, in my opinion. Icelander says, I think people may be under the wrong impression that your Hex on the ETH can be bridged over to ETH on PLS as is. Someone has to provide liquidity, right? Let me try to understand this question. Well, your Hex on ETH can be bridged over to PLS. I don't know what you mean by ETH on PLS. This question, it's kind of doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, you can bridge your Hex from the Ethereum chain over to the PulseChain, but you're also going to already have a copy of your Hex on the PulseChain. People are calling them eHex and pHex, right? That's one way to differentiate. There's Hex native to PulseChain, there's Hex native to Ethereum. So wherever the coin came from, that's where it's native to. So if you're taking Hex over the bridge into the PulseChain world, it becomes eHex because it's native to Ethereum. You just bridged it over. Nobody needs to provide liquidity for that. The bridge just issues you a representative token. So actually bridges don't really have liquidity in them. Maybe that's what you're saying. Bridges don't actually hold any liquidity. They just issue you a representative token, right? The bridge contract issues you a virtual version of Hex essentially on the Pulse chain if you're bridging it from ETH to Pulse. So yeah, no liquidity needed. Hope I answered that correctly. Brat Kadoka says, what's up? Why popular Hex YouTubers doesn't try to publish actual progress or problems concerning PulseChain launch? There's not many problems. I don't know. I mean, what are the problems? They're working through code right now. Developers are developing. I mean, no one here is trying to hide anything, right? And people saying that there are PulseChain problems, I don't know where they're coming up with this. It's essentially a fan fiction that they're making up. You know, there's been delays in PulseChain and they're taking their time to make the product as good as it possibly can be. That's the name of the game in software, guys. There's never been a software product that's launched on time. I used to work in tech. Deadlines are always moving. Deadlines are always getting delayed, okay? So there's no deadline right now because people get so ramped up in thinking that the price is going to pump if there's a deadline, like we saw in May. Everyone thought the deadline was mid-May, even though that wasn't even what Richard Hart said. He just said, we're probably going to launch mid-May. He was wrong. So he's not giving any more time estimates. Because of that, I think because of the lack of awareness, people don't know that developers are developing. They don't actually understand that what they're building and how they're like building it in private. People just start to make up lies and rumors about, oh, well, it's not going to ever launch. It's like, you can believe that if you want, but you're going to shake yourself out and you're going to miss the opportunity of a lifetime. So if you think there's an issue with Pulse, sell your bag, dump it. PulseChain doesn't need you. Is Icosa a stable coin for you? What? No, it's not a stable coin. I don't think it's a stable coin at all. Look, I'm just sitting back with my popcorn on Icosa. I staked all of it. 100% of my Icosa is staked. And we'll see what happens. I think it will eventually trend up in price because if it goes up in Hex terms, and if Hex goes up in price, then it'll drag Icosa with it, right? On the inverse side, if Hex goes down and it's tied to the Icosa price, then Icosa goes down. That's how it works. Any thoughts on NFTs on PulseChain? I think there's a whole bunch of people building NFT platforms on PulseChain. They see this as like the big money maker. We'll see if NFTs are still trendy by the time PulseChain launches. And I do agree that there's a future end game for NFTs. I just don't think that Bored Apes is it. No offense, Bored Apes holders, right? But like, I don't think that's going to end up being. I think that's going to end up being just like Beanie Babies, But NFTs have a future. There's at least four. There's 4 different NFT projects being done on PulseChain. So there's no shortage of a place to buy NFTs. Right? You've got Mintra. You've got NFT on Pulse. You've got what's the Power City one? Pixel Park. And I don't know. We'll see which one gets more popular. My bet originally was on Mintra, but Pixel Park kind of seems like they have the right connections in place. I don't know. I don't think the NFT, financially, I don't think the NFT coins are going to be the real money makers. But if you're an NFT creator or if you have an NFT business idea, check out, Mintra, NFT on Pulse, or Pixel Park. Those are the guys building the actual NFT platforms. Franklin thinks, I think we'll bottom out in October. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Crypto 7, cheers back to you, bro. Funk Master Hex says, realistically, where could Hedron price go in this next bull run? I don't know. If Hex can do 1000x, then Hedron can do 1000x too. I literally see them as tied together. Like, I don't know. I think it could go pretty freaking high. But then again, like, I don't like buying the pumps. So Hedron is pumping so hard right now. It's like, I don't like buying pumps. I like buying when things are low. But then again, Hedron up till November 13th could keep pumping, right? Could just keep on pumping. It's really an enigma in a bear market for something this good to happen. So hopefully you guys can, get some kind of profit or gains from it, right? Do you believe that Bitcoin's a 4-year cycle? I believe actually in expanding cycles. So I believe that Bitcoin's on a 4-year cycle technically because the halving happens every 4 years. But I do think that expansions and contractions, like if you look at crypto as like the Big Bang, right? And it's like a jellyfish. Like from nothing, there was everything, and then it contracts, and then it goes up, and then it contracts, and then it goes up. But basically, every contraction and expansion takes a longer period of time because there's more financial energy that it takes to enter the system. There's more people trickling in. It's harder to move a heavier object than a smaller object, When things are young, they tend to have a lot of volatility. And I just think the volatility gets stretched out over time as something ages and matures. So I believe in a lengthening cycle. I think maybe this next one might be like 5 years total, right? Because if we started at, where do you want to start? You want to start at the bottom? So if we've had the Bitcoin, whenever the Bitcoin bottom is in, I think it's 5 years from top to bottom again. Or from bottom to bottom, right? When you measure a cycle, you measure either from bottom to bottom or from top to top. So when PulseChain does launch, we seriously are going to get p-hex equal to what hex we own airdrops to us? Yes, absolutely, Sniff. Yeah, if you're new here, that's what PulseChain is doing. It's the world's biggest airdrop. They're copying all of your ERC20 coins. So you're going to have, if you've got 10,000 hex on Ethereum, you're going to have 10,000 hex on PulseChain. Now, the prices might not be equal, right? That doesn't mean you're going to double your money overnight, but it does mean that although the price of hex on Ethereum might drop, it's still going to have some price. It's still going to hold some dollar value. And the price of Pulse hex, p-hex, is going to go up from the bottom because it's going to start at 0. It's going to go up, and it's going to probably overshoot and fluctuate. It's going to land on a certain dollar value. So the sum of your e-hex and your p-hex after the fork might be worth 1.1x, 1.2x of the total dollar value of your hex alone prior to the fork. That's my thoughts. So I still think the sum of the two parts is greater than the original price pre-fork, even though it might not, but it's not going to be double your money. That's all I wanted to say. It's not going to be straight up double your money overnight. Nothing is that easy, right? I thought you couldn't send hex to PLS from ETH chain and stake it. I could be wrong though. You're talking about sending hex to PulseChain, e-hex to PulseChain and stake it. Yeah, you're right. You can't stake e-hex on PulseChain. You can only stake Pulse native hex on PulseChain. So you are correct about that, Icelander. Hey, thanks for the tip, man. Chuck and Chris says, if you have 10K for Hex ecosystem, how will you play? If I had $10,000 in Hex ecosystem, I would literally probably, I would set, this is not financial advice. I would literally just set 5 limit orders, maybe, shit, man. I might just ape all in at this, like having the conviction that I have, I might just ape entirely into Hex because you can derive Hedron from that. You can mint Hedron from that. I probably wouldn't get into MAXI. I probably would buy all Hex, and then I would stake half my Hex, and then I would leave the other half of my Hex liquid. And I'd probably save some of that liquid Hex to transfer into Pulse PLS or Pulse X. I'm assuming, this is assuming you're totally fresh. You didn't get involved in the PLS sacrifice. You didn't get involved in the Pulse X sacrifice. yeah, I might go. I'd probably ape in all hex, stake half in a ladder, keep the other half liquid, and with the liquid other half, try to get a good deal by swapping hex to PLS and by swapping hex to PulseX. Because Pulse and PulseX are going to dip. Those two are going to dip when it launches. I think PulseX is going to dip first, and then I think PulseChain is going to pump and then dip second. So I think there's going to be buying opportunities, and I think the best option to have at that time is going to be hex, because if you buy it now, I'm speculating that the price will be higher by the time PulseChain launches. Again, that's all speculation. That's what I would do. That's not financial advice. So you take responsibility for your own actions. I'm not talking to you, Chucka, necessarily. I'm talking to everybody else listening. None of this is financial advice. Charles Kirby says, have you staked any of your Hedron for Icosa? Yes, I've staked 90% of my Hedron for Icosa, and I plan to just keep it there. I mean, my minimum stake length was, a year. So I'm just going to leave it there for a year, come back in 1 year and see how high it is. If I want to take profit, I will, and I'll probably restake most of it again. I don't like selling my whole stack of something, right? Same thing with Hex. That's the whole income ladder strategy, is you stake it for however long. Price goes up or down. By the time you end your stake, you've got all this yield, and then you've got all the principal. You don't want to kill the golden goose, right? You want to restake the principal so it keeps making you more money. And then, hey, you can take a little profit on the yield. And if that yield is 100x value, it might be a nice little tasty treat in the future, right? You're delaying gratification, you're paying your future self. Limp Noodle wants to know, how does Icosa yield from the Icosa pool get derived? Good question. So I've got a video about this. Check out my previous videos. It gets derived based on an equation has to do with the number of Hedron burned per day. So Hedron gets burned in 4 ways. It gets burned through emergency end stakes, it gets burned through the proof of benevolence function. It gets burned through buying back HSIs in the HSI liquidation auctions, and it gets burned through. The 4th way it gets burned is through paying off payments for people that take Hedron advances on their Hex stakes. Now, what am I talking about? It doesn't necessarily matter. Just know that every day a certain number of Hedron is burned and the supply goes down, which is actually good for the price of fundamentals, right? And based on the total burned Hedron for the day and the share rate, the Hex share rate, there's an equation that dictates the number of Icosa that gets minted or that gets put into the yield pool for that day. And for both the Icosa and Hedron yield, I don't know if the equation is the same for both. I think it is. I will have to go look at that, but it's probably in the white paper. I just know that it's based off of burned Hedron. So the more Hedron burned, the higher the yield is, the Icosa yield, and share rate. So the more share rate goes up, the lower the yield gets over time. Hedron is a sleeping giant. Yeah, everyone's stoked on Hedron right now. Probably because it went up 5x in the last month. Yeah, might keep pumping, might not. Congrats, Sniff. Hex is the way. Okay, yes, I get it now. I'm a new Hex investor. Hey, welcome to the party, man. I think you're in the right place at the right time. So welcome, Sniff. That's a cute dog you got there. Brat Kadoka says, I don't want to dump my bags. Just lack of information lately is kind of concerning. Thanks for the reply, CC. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to be like an asshole or anything, but I do believe PulseChain is the opportunity of a lifetime. I really do. I'm so excited for it, and it does suck to not have any PulseChain updates. But Richard Hart has told us what the developers are working on. They're taking the code from inside of a smart contract to outside of the smart contract, the consensus code, the part of the code that tells all of the validators how to agree. All the blockchain people, all the computers, how to agree. Let me explain this like I'm 5. They're taking out the part of the code that makes the computers agree, and they're putting it into the RAM of the computer and not into the blockchain itself. And this should prevent certain attack vectors on PulseChain, and it should also increase throughput. So double whammy, 2 for 1, real innovation. I don't think Ethereum is currently doing that, so it's a pretty cool innovation. Can you transfer EHEX to PHEX? Yeah, I mean, if there's a liquidity pool, you can go ahead and bridge your EHEX over and then swap it into PHEX. That's what a lot of people are probably going to do. Any updates on your new updated courses? Well, I'm filming the content right now, so obviously I'm only filming what I can, right? Like, so the mindset part and the security part are in progress. I want to get those done early because when PulseChain comes out, that's when I actually have a lot more work to do. And I actually have to film all the tutorials about, you know, here's how you stake your PulseChain, delegate it, stake your PulseX. Here's how you use Hedron and MAXI and all that stuff. Like, it's all going to be packaged together. So my update on that is it's in progress, bro. Travis said, my man Coffee, my favorite content creator. Thank you, Travis. You're my favorite person in the chat box right now. Hedron price pumping increases MAXI value. Oh, hey, what's up, Dipcatcher? How you doing? Dipcatcher says the Hedron price pumping increases MAXI value and the value of team staker rewards. That's very, very true. So because we all pooled this stake together in MAXI, you're entitled to not only your Hex, you know, when you redeem your MAXI at the end of the 15 years, but you're also entitled to all the Hedron that it was able to mint, and it's minting it at a 5x bonus because MAXI was done in the early days of Hedron. So it got a 5x bonus multiplier. So the amount of Hedron that the MAXI stake will be able to mint, this is a $270 million stake, 15-year maxing stake. And the amount of Hedron it's able to mint is pretty astronomical. So that the price of the Hedron is also factored into the underlying fair value of the MAXI price. The fair value being, you know, the interest accrued so far, hypothetically, and the Hedron hypothetically accrued so far. What is the interest rate for the Hedron loans? Is there a minimum payment? Could I just pay one Hedron per 90 days? No, it's not that simple. I don't think you can just pay one Hedron per 90 days. The interest rate is calculated off some complicated, like some crazy thing that you're gonna have to go back in the white paper. I can't recite it to you off the top of my head, but there is a minimum payment. And the strategy that some people do, I'll tell you guys a Hedron strategy right now. So with your Hex stakes, you have the ability to either mint daily or mint the entire life cycle. It's called taking an advance. So what you can do is you can take 2 Hex stakes and you can mint Hedron daily on one, and on the other, you can choose to go ahead and take an advance, meaning you go ahead and mint all the future days in your stake and you get it all now. And the price of getting it all now is that you have to make an interest payment on it every 30 days. Now, if you have that other stake that you're just minting Hedron from every day, you can very simply just use that other Hedron that you're just minting, you know, you're not advancing, you're not taking the advance, you're just minting it daily. And you can use that mintable Hedron every day for free to pay off the interest payments on your advance. And so I think some people are doing this actually, especially if the price of Hedron goes way up and you've got a max link stake that's got a 10x multiplier on it. Some people might choose to do that. I probably won't do that, but some people might. My G, you're a legend, 100. Do we get a copy of all this Icosa stuff on Pulse? You sure do, DJ Bomber. And thank you for the kind words, bro. Yeah, get a copy of everything on PulseChain. It's going to be a fucking copy. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. It's going to be the world's biggest airdrop. I love UCC since Hex day one. I love you too. Wild SJ, smash the like and subscribe for this GOAT giving you top-notch alpha for free. Wow, SJ, you sound like a true crypto OG. Sounds like you've mastered all the lingo. Yeah, smash the likes, guys. Smash the likes for that sweet, sweet alpha. Lord Junta, how can we ever find an objective YouTuber? We have been received to lose money. I wish I found you on time. You are a signal yourself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, dude, I'm literally just saying what I believe, and I don't have some ulterior agenda. You guys know what I hold. I obviously hold Hex, but I obviously also think it's literally the future. Like, I'm not lying. You know what I mean? And my track record's pretty good. Been chilling Hex for 2.5 years, and a lot of people say that they got rich and they found out about Hex because of me. So thank you, Lord Junta. That was very nice of you. And yeah, I really have to be careful about what I talk about because I've made mistakes in the past. I've talked about coins that ended up being scams, and then I had to apologize because, you know, you have to be very conservative when you're giving out non-financial crypto advice on the internet, right? Because people can lose a lot of money. So if I'm talking about a coin, I've looked into it, I've done my research, And I'm as sure as I possibly can be that it's going to be good for me and everybody else. You know, I believe in positive sum games. I don't believe in dumping. I want us all to win together, right? Obviously, we're all going to take profit someday. Clearly, we're all going to take some profit, but I want us to all do it in a sustainable way. Like if we all just laddered and sold the interest and we all just did that and didn't trade and onboarded new people instead of trading, like we would be able to win together so much faster. But I mean, it's already happening pretty fast. I'm not complaining, right? The stuff I'm seeing from the Hex community is really inspiring. I mean, what other community do you know is reaching out and onboarding more people than ever before, like every single day, just relentlessly? Guys, I think we've reached critical mass. I mean, Richard talks about we're pre-viral. Yeah, we are. But I really do believe that we've reached critical mass. And that means that there's no turning back. Snowball's already rolling down the hill. The avalanche is coming. I mean, there's no way we can lose, in my opinion. So I know bear markets are hard, but just try to stay the course, stay focused. Don't get distracted by the shit coinery going on out there. There's a lot of meme coins trying to fight for your attention. And there's a lot of haters telling you that you're invested in a scam project. Don't listen to them. Listen to yourself. Educate yourself. Think about what do you really believe? What do you really want? And yeah, join the winning team. Hey guys, like, subscribe, and I give my opinions not mentioned. Thank you, Franklin. Don't follow the fake gurus. Yep, Richard almost gone viral. Pretty close. He's pretty damn close. All right, boys and girls. I hope you liked the the trees and whatnot behind me. I'm gonna get going. I gotta pee. So you guys are great. And I'll see you on the next one.